Hi everyone, good evening. How are you doing? Let's just wait a bit for others to join in before we start. Good evening. I can see Mrs. Doris Asuko. Good evening. How are you doing? Okay. In a short while, we are going to start. First of all, I want to use this opportunity to thank my mentor, Mrs. Doris Asuko, for making this event possible. Mrs. Doris Asuko is a linguist, a language instructor, and African language translator. I want to thank you for making this event a possibility. Okay, my name is Michael. I'm an accountant. And this evening we are going to be talking about why businesses fail. Why do business fail? Or what are the reasons for corporate failure? We know failure as lack of success. But it is not just lack of success. Failure is also a neglect or omission of expected or required action. Meaning that there is something that you are expected to do that you are not doing, or there is something that is not expected of you to be done and you are doing it. That's failure. So failure is lack of success, and it is also a neglect or omission of expected or required action. That is what failure is. So business failure occurs when a business becomes insolvent and goes out of business. By insolvency means that businesses are unable to meet their debt obligation. Businesses are able to meet their debt obligation. What is debt obligation? The money that they owe creditors. You are running a business and you are owing creditors. You are unable to pay. The money is become very huge and you are unable to pay. That is what is known as unable to meet with debt obligation. So business failure occurs when a business becomes insolvent, unable to meet its debt obligation, and goes out of business. Companies that fail have obviously performed badly. After a company has failed, it becomes possible to analyze the reason why failure happened and what went wrong. Now, what are the causes of business failure? You are into business and your business fail. What are the possible reasons for business failure? So business failure prediction is concerned with trying to identify businesses that are at risk of failure. Before the failure actually happens, if a management can identify the signs of failure in advance, they might be able to take actions to mitigate or eliminate this failure before they occur. There are two different views about predicting business failure. One, it could be financial and it could be non-financial. Now, financial failure has to do with liquidity problem. What we mean by liquidity problem is that a business is shorting cash. There are cash issues in a business. You are unable to, and because of that, you're unable to meet your obligations, your daily current obligation, or you are unable to pay creditors. That is liquidity problem, and also you experience constant and consistent losses, then your business is at a risk of collapse. And also you are prone to failure if you are unable to pay workers. That is, you borrow money to pay workers. You can know that your business is at a brink of collapse when you start borrowing long term in order to pay salaries. So you'll be heading towards collapse. Now in business, we don't use short-term loans or long-term loans to cater for long-term finances. We use short-term loans to cater for short-term projects or short-term finances. So by the time you borrow money to pay for recurrent expenditure like salary, you know that your business is at a brink of failure. So another view is the non-financial reason why businesses fail. And these financial reasons include poor business planning. In my last video, I talked about the concept of legal entity in financial accounting. Legal entity. The law of legal entity states that businesses are considered to be separate from its owner. It can sue and it can be sued. Now, poor business planning, it is said that if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. Many businesses, because they do not have a clear cut of what they want, they just want to go into profit. Business is not all about profits. You need to have a vision. You need to have a clear-cut strategy of where you are going into. It's not just about profit. Profit is good, but business is not only about profits. So they go into just making profits so that they don't know what they are doing, and they don't know what they are trying to actually achieve except profits. So the other reason why businesses fail could be as a result of poor marketing. I'm still going to be talking about the aspect of the legal entity, how it comes to play as far as business collapse is concerned. Now, poor marketing. Businesses that fail are often guilty of failing to promote themselves and their products in a competitive market. The world of business is highly competitive. By the time you go into business, you have to create awareness. You have to make your products known. You have to penetrate the market so that people can patronize you. Once you start getting turnovers, you make profits, you get turnovers, then you can stay in business. Another reason why businesses collapse is poor management. This is where the law of business entity or legal entity or corporate person comes into play. Now, you own a boutique, and you as the owner of the boutique, you are unable to separate the boutique from yourself. That is, you are unable to separate the owner from the business, which is the boutique. And you go at will into the boutique, take trousers, take shirts, and begin to wear without replacement. Now, the law of legal entity states that the business is separate from its owner, meaning that if you are operating a business and you as the owner take something from the business, you are buying, or you are borrowing, or you are paying yourself. But you cannot just, as the owner, eat up your capital. It is not done. The owners of business in particular often fail to recognize their own weaknesses and do not call out for help when they are in crisis. Management may also lack the experience and skill to make their business a success. There is also the lack of adequate internal controls. There are businesses that are doing well. They can afford to employ people, but along the line of making profits, they don't want to employ accountants. They don't want to employ auditors. They don't want to employ internal control officers to take care of, to assist them in enhancing the accountability aspect of business and the control aspect of business. In business, your workers may be engaged in, maybe involved in pilfering or pilferage, what we call pilferage, taking items from the shop. For instance, provision shop. We operate a provision shop, and you have sales girls. Now, the record is there, but aside the record, there can be pilferage if you don't monitor and you are unable to track items in the shop. So it is very important, if you can afford it, employ accountants, employ auditors, employ internal control officers to strengthen the internal control mechanism in your organization. Some businesses, they like cutting costs, even though they make profits. They like cutting costs at the expense of the business. They cut costs so much, reduce expense so much, to the extent that the business starts suffering. So try as much as possible to employ people to assist you in internal control, to assist you in the accounting aspect of the business. Most especially if you are a very busy person, you don't really have time to monitor your business. You just leave your business to the hands of sales boys and sales girls. So lack of adequate internal control could lead to business failure or collapse. So how do we avoid failure? How do we avoid failure in business? We have talked about the causes of business failure. Then, how do we avoid the risk or mitigate the risk or eliminate the risk of business failure? You see, when businesses are seen to be at risk of failure, measures should be taken to reduce the risk or to eliminate the risk. The measures that are needed may be apparent from the indicators of failure. This includes, first, you must have a strategy. Strategy are step-by-step process you take in order to achieve your long-term goals. You must have a strategy. Like I said earlier, it's not just about profit. You need to lay down strategies. What are your goals? What is your mission in business? So you need to have a plan, have a strategy in order for you to achieve your goal in business. Secondly, you must have controls put in place. You must be, like I said in my last video, you must be disciplined. You must know how to separate yourself as the owner of the business from the business. You must be able to put in control measures. You don't just eat your profit, you don't just eat your capital. You must have controls in business. And also, you must avoid system of one man rule. You are the one that will vet. You are the one that will approve. You are the one that will disburse fund. In a large business, when you operate a large business, you should be able to have what we call division of labor, division of checks and balances in business. The person that is approved. Also, there must be a management. There must be a leader. There must be management system in the business. And also, you must keep yourself informed of changes. You must be receptive to changes. You must not be impervious to changes. You must be receptive. In the world of tech, high tech today, you must keep track with recent happenings, innovations, new inventions. You must keep track. You must keep yourself abreast in terms of the kind of business that you are doing, how the changes that are coming up in the world of business, the business that you operate, and you must react to these changes. You must not be rigid. You must be very, very flexible in business. And also, the customer is king. Know that the customer is king. The customers are kings and queens. You have to learn to treat your customers as kings and queens. Now, from experience, I have seen a situation where somebody is selling products and people come to buy. In the process of negotiating, they beat down the price, and the seller of that product begins to insult the buyer. Is it free of charge? I'm going to give to you. Go to somewhere else if you don't want to buy. That is not how to operate a business, because that person, you don't know the number of people that person can attract to your business. So by the time you give a negative impression about your business to anybody, even though a single person, that effect can become a ripple effect, can have effect on other people that are yet to patronize you, because you have already created a bad negative impression. So know that keep your customers, treat them as kings and queens. Also, do not manipulate your account. You want to impress yourself. You are keeping a window dressed account. Do not manipulate your account. Keep your account the way it is, as real and as possible. Be real to yourself. Then lastly, you have to organize to meet the needs of your employees. When your employees are happy, then they can work for you with all their hearts, their soul, their minds. So by the time you may not necessarily meet all the basic requirements of your employees, but make sure that the essentials, there are things, make sure that you put in place safety. They are doing well in terms of safety, and they are doing well in terms of payment of their salaries. The month end shouldn't come and you are unable to pay. You are dilly-dallying around. You post them around. You don't want to pay them their salaries. They will not be happy with you. So in as much as you treat your customers as kings and queens, treat your employees well. Give them good working condition and they will work for you. So with these few tips, I hope you'll be able to avoid business failures. If you have questions and comments, you can drop. I can see Miss Comfort. Good evening. I can see Mr. Jeffrey or Mr. Jaffet. Good evening. How are you doing? Okay. Questions, comments. Okay, somebody may ask whether you can be gifted in business. Yes, you can be gifted in business. That's what is called business acumen. Just the way people are gifted in talking. We have people that are gifted in politics. We have people that are gifted in rhetorics. There's what we call business acumen. That is business skill. You can be gifted in business and you can become skilled in business. You can learn the art of business and do well in business. So we have people that are born skilled in a particular field, and we have people who acquire. But I believe that you can always acquire what you are interested in. There is nothing that you cannot achieve if you condescend to step-by-step learning. So you can learn the art of business. You can learn how to make money. You can learn how to flourish in business, like what we are doing right now. By the time you are able to apply these tips, then you are on your way to making progress in business. So business can be learned. The art of business can be learned. It can be mastered. It can be acquired, and you can also be gifted in the arts of business. Thank you. Any other question? So let me just go through a rundown of what I've said. Businesses experience failure due to financial reasons and non-financial reasons. So the financial reasons have to do with liquidity issue. When you are unable to meet your debt obligation, you are unable to make a lot of cash. There's little or no cash in the business for the business to operate. Then your business is at the brink of failure. Then also when you borrow money to pay salaries to meet short-term obligation. We call them recurrent expenditure, like salary, emoluments, wages, stocking your shop. These are recurrent expenditure. Working capitals to put your business standing, to make your business standing. You are unable to meet with these obligations. These are financial obligations. The other is the customer is king. Then the other is do not manipulate your accounts. And lastly, organize to meet the needs of your employees. So I believe that when you put this in perspective, you are on your way to succeeding in business. Thank you very much and have a lovely weekend. I'll see you next week, Saturday. God bless. Bye.